guys, what's happening? I'm the Tmeister, and welcome back to Timbukton. In this episode, guys, we will be starting to build North Timbukton. Actually, no, I lied. We started that in last episode, but in this episode, we're really gonna start laying the foundation for North Timbukton. Now, this episode's cut a little short, and a lot of the road infrastructure that's already placed down was not really featured in last episode, and it's not really going to be featured in this episode either. However, I will be featuring, you'll notice this large avenue right in the middle. You're probably wondering, what is that? I've never seen such a road, or I've seen very few of these roads in the City Skylines community before. What are they? And those are actually part of a big American road pack. So I'm going to place a link down in the description for this road pack if you'd like to go download it and use it in your own city, as the road pack includes a whole bunch of different roads. So it includes little streets, it includes roads, both like super wide and normal roads. I mean, there's a ton of stuff in that road pack. So yeah, I mean, download it, guys. I mean, it's really great. And another thing that just came out at the time of making this episode, which is also part of, it's not part of the same pack, but it was released by the same creator, are these houses here, these fully decorated houses. They're all propped up and everything. Not all of these houses, though. I don't place all of these houses from the pack that I'm talking about. But a lot of these houses are from the same creator who created these roads, and they're really great. And one of my favorite things about them is, if you look closely, you can see the driveways of these houses extend past the sidewalk. So yeah, it kind of covers the little green strip between the street and the homes. So that's it's a minor detail, and I'm glad somebody has finally figured out this problem, because it's been sort of a pet peeve of mine ever since the game came out. It's kind of an unrealistic feature, but I mean, finally somebody has actually figured out a way to hide those the little green strips between the streets and whatnot. So yeah, I mean, this too, I mean, it's just a really great house pack. So anyways, back to the game. North Timbukton, most of it's going to be semi-dense residential, but it's going to be residential for the most part. So, as we move more and more north outside of the city center, we're outside of the Timbukton Peninsula now. We're starting to get into some more modern subdivisions and whatnot. So the housing style is beginning to change compared to what you would find right in Timbukton. So I'd say right where we are at this very moment in this neighborhood was probably built in the late 70s, the mid to late 70s, I would say. Maybe 80s. Yeah, maybe 80s too. Early 80s, I would say. But anyways, just to give you an idea on what era this whole area was developed in. So we're going to have a series of older strip malls up and down these main avenues. One thing I'll have to figure out, though, is how to make these avenues actually have zonable land on either side of them, because it was a real pain to use these roads, and I had to create custom parking lots to get everything to fit. So yeah, I mean, the biggest challenge in this build, it's the first time that I'm using these roads, by the way, and I wasn't really expecting that at the time, but these roads, they don't have zonable squares adjacent to them, right? So I can't just plop a building against the road and build out a parking lot and stuff afterwards. I have to figure out a way to indirectly connect the buildings to the main road by creating parking lots and things, and it just kind of makes it a pain to use. I'm sure that there's a way to eliminate that problem, because I forget what mod it is. Maybe somebody can let me know down in the comments, but there's a mod that lets you change whether a road is zonable or not. I don't know if I'm explaining myself. I don't know if I'm explaining myself clearly, but I'm hoping that somebody knows what I'm talking about and can assist me in the comments. But anyways, so yeah, that's going to be pretty much it for this episode. Actually, yeah, one other thing too. This particular area, a little closer to the peninsula, will be a much different type of subdivision. So you can pretend here that this main road here that's following the coast, this was probably like one of the main highways that went around Timbukton. Right now it's nothing more than a little side street, but at the time this would have been, a major road that went right through this neighborhood. And that's why I made an effort to place down these old houses with mature trees around them. Make this area feel like super, what's the word? Historic is the word I was looking for. And I did this specifically close to the water because it's adjacent to the Timbukton Peninsula. So we could say that this may have been like a little neighborhood that was kind of like sprawled out from the city. And I don't know, it just makes for like a really cool mixture of houses. And here, what I did, it's kind of hard to tell, but maybe you'll get a glimpse of it at some point in this episode. So the way the highway goes, it kind of comes up over a little hill and then it makes a sharp left turn, or right if you're going the other way. And that main road that was following the coastline could have gone where the highway is now. And the highway just kind of cut the road off from, the rest of the city, and now it's, a little harder to get out of this neighborhood kind of thing. And I mean, I tried to do that a lot in Timbukton. So yeah, here you can maybe get a quick glimpse of it, what I'm talking about. But like I was saying, like what I try to do a lot in Timbukton is have the city have like a natural progression to it. So I don't want it to feel planned and like really organized and modern. Old cities were developed organically and over time, right? So roads may have been tore up and replaced with big avenues and other highways, leaving the original roads kind of in this weird position where, they just stop, or they will curve and go around, like they'll replace that road in some sort of illogical fashion. But when you look at like archives and really study how these roads were laid out, you can kind of tell like, oh, okay, that's the reason why this road was, like moved in this fashion. I try to like sort of emulate that in Timbukton as much as possible. And yeah, here is an example too, like these streets have kind of conformed to the highway, right? So we can only assume that the highway was here before these streets, and that's why the houses, or a lot of them, look a little bit more modern than, as you get closer to the city. But this episode was actually really fun to do, guys. It was kind of mindless, just plopping away houses and, making some suburban neighborhoods. But it was fun to play around with these streets and fun to play around with a lot of the new assets that have been plopping up on the workshop recently. Another thing, too, that I must go over is North Timbukton. It's part of the city of Timbukton, of course, but it's kind of separated from the city, right? Like it's physically separated from the rest of the peninsula. So it kind of has like its own independence in a way. So I made an effort to make this neighborhood fully sufficient, or not sufficient, but like, geez, I can't find my words today. Like independent. So obviously it's going to have like a school and its own hospital and fire station and all those things. It's going to have all of the services that a city would require, a conventional city. But I also placed down this big aquatic center here, right in the middle of the city. And yeah, I mean, I just think it looks really cool. You have like this semi-dense neighborhoods, and then in the middle you have like this big recreational center. I just think it looks kind of cool. It is, of course, vanilla. There's only so much you can do with any vanilla asset, but nonetheless, I mean, it fits perfectly well in this area. And I mean, this part of town is kind of low priority. Like it's not a part of town where you would kind of like focus a lot of attention to. So a lot of these areas I just kind of breezed over pretty quickly. But I promise I won't do that for like the whole outskirts of Timbukton, guys. There's gonna be some really unique places that I have planned. Now, what's going on for next episode? That I am not too sure. However, I kind of have an itch to expand a little bit more west of the city. So I'm gonna try to like, as we're moving outside of the city, guys, I'm probably gonna be jumping around from area to area and progressively grow the city outwards. But I am also getting kind of excited to start like really north Timbukton, like between Timbukton and Aberdeen, like that big land mass that's totally untouched. Like it literally has a highway just running right through it, and that's literally the only human civilization in that area. That area, I have a ton of awesome things planned. I may get started on it in next episode. I gotta start filming it pretty soon to keep up with the schedule. So I don't know. At the moment of booting up City Skylines for the next episode, I'll just go with whatever I feel like doing at that moment. But yeah, I kind of want to finish Timbukton though before moving on to other things. So anyways, guys, that's going to be it for this episode. This episode's a little short, but it's still a pretty important area in town. If you like this episode, guys, do your usual thing and give this video a thumbs up. But if you aren't subscribed, be sure to do so, and I will be forever grateful. So thanks again, guys, and until the next episode, please take care.